dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation Radio, heard coast to coast on the Radio America Network. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. Today we are talking 1 year of Donald Trump in his second term. It's going to be quite the show. We're covering all the aspects and digging deep on the facts. Please remember, Liberty Nation Radio is sponsored by LibertyNation.com, where you can access podcasts, breaking news analysis, and a range of biting and brilliant shows to whet your appetite for freedom and your fondness for the great American Constitution. And you're here on Liberty Nation Radio, heard coast to coast on the Radio America Network. I'm your host, Mark Angelides, as always, and we're joined by longtime host of this here radio show and Liberty Nation senior political analyst, Mr. Tim Donnan. Thanks for being here, Tim.
Good morning, Mark. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year again. It is a new year in many ways, though, isn't it, of course, which I guess is your point there, that this is a new year of Donald Trump presidency. So we have just entered the second year of Donald Trump's presidencies, and we've just closed out a year, and so it's been quite an eventful year, I would say, Tim. I think as far as the record books go, this has been one of the busiest in terms of presidential actions and excitements. Now let's talk about how you think that's been politically, how you think it's been constitutionally. We might delve into the melting heads of the media who have spent the last year looking like the bad guys in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is always a fun image for everybody who hasn't seen it. Tim, how do you think the second first year of Donald Trump's presidency has gone? As 47.
Well, I've been thinking really about the best way to put in perspective the first Trump year, because he's done so much. It's been a presidency of shock and awe. I hate to use that term, but that is really exactly what the first year has been. But there's another way to look at it, which is that the entire first year of Donald Trump's presidency is all about removing any remnants of the Joe Biden administration. It's been about erasing the Biden presidency. This is a piece that Axios wrote, and it was a hard left piece that's highly, it uses loaded language that's supposedly objective, but it really isn't. But they are right in the sense with their headline, how Trump's ruthless first year erased the Biden presidency. And what that means is, every president comes in and signs executive orders, and the last several presidents have signed executive orders overturning the orders of a previous president. But Trump has gone so much further. He has removed climate change as a thing. Nobody's talking about it anymore. He has increased energy production and made us energy independent, probably on the way to becoming energy dominant. He has canceled a lot of the so-called experts that have been telling us how the government should be run and how we should run our lives. He's gotten rid of programs at places like USAID, where one boondoggle after another was uncovered, and that was early in his administration. And he has certainly taken hold of the U.S. role in the world. I think that's probably the most surprising thing, is that he has been as vigilant about the Western Hemisphere and about the influence of Iran and China and Russia. And I think in the long run, Mark, that will be the legacy of his first year, is the way that he took down Maduro. He destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities. He intervened in several other conflicts and brought peace, or at least ceasefire.
No, talking about Israel and Gaza anymore. I mean, they're not. Yeah, done deal.
No, they're not. And the entire Middle East has been remade, as evidenced by the peace deal that was made following the destruction of Iran's nuclear facilities and the end of that 12-day war between Gaza, between Hamas, where Iran really and Israel. I mean, Iran has been decapitated. My understanding is that the Ayatollah Khamenei has now been moved to a bunker, which is, of course, famously the last step before Adolf Hitler went down in flames at his own hand. So I think once you're in a bunker and you've got thousands of people in the streets demonstrating and people being killed simply for demonstrating, and the numbers are up in the thousands, Donald Trump has remade the world in his first year. And now I think the second year is going to be all about trying to remake the U.S. in the image that Trump wants it to be in, which is lower taxes, more freedom, hopefully lower healthcare costs, more affordability. Economic growth would be the driver of that. But I think the first year is largely about not only erasing the Biden presidency, but forging, an administration that Trump wished he could have had the first time around, but he couldn't for political reasons. The fact he was a novice, he was so easily flummoxed and was forced to rely on people he didn't know. This time around is a whole different story. And I think the first year is basically laying the groundwork for a second year, because if you look at the big, beautiful bill, I mean, the tenets of that are kicking in now in January of 2026. And that's going to be the key to whether the Republicans can break with history and retain their majorities in Congress come the midterm elections.
Yeah, I want to pull back to a couple of points you made about how presidents tend to use the first segment of their new administrations to undo, or that it's almost like a tennis match, especially in recent years. Somebody comes in, they undo all the executive orders of the last president, and then when that president goes, another one comes in, undoes those orders. Because you remember, we've traveled from we went 44, 45, 46, 47 in a very short term, right? Shorter than usual because a lot of presidents serve 2 terms. But I think as well as undoing the executive orders, which is, it's the, what would you say it is? It's the double-edged sword of ruling by executive order, is that, if you can do it with a pen and a phone, somebody else can undo it. But I think what Donald Trump really focused on, as you say, was getting rid of the Biden legacy, but also the ramifications of what Joe Biden did in office. Because, I mean, we saw it over the 4 years that we saw inflation, cumulative inflation reached 22%. And yes, that was coming down before Donald Trump came into office. Although I suspect that's because a lot of price factors started going haywire towards the election. And the massive amount of illegal aliens that crossed the border during the Biden presidency. And what we've seen since Donald Trump came in a year ago is he's been moving to deport or get to self-deport as many people as humanly possible. So it's not just the actions that he seems to be trying to undo, but the fallout of those actions being a mass of drugs entering the country, a mass of illegal immigrants entering the country, inflation driven largely by energy costs, I guess, because, if you're not producing your own energy, you're on the hook for somebody else's. And while there's a war going on in Russia and Ukraine, that's an unstable situation. So yeah, it's been very much, as you finalized with there, it's been a do-over for him for his first year. This was the kind of first year he wished he had back in 2016. Now, we're going to discuss precisely what Donald Trump achieved in his own right. This is the year just gone. After this short break, don't go anywhere.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.